Hello, my name is Host Eric, and I'm the Talking with Famous People. I am here in a go-to-meeting room at the moment. I have to go back to work, not very long, about half an hour, but I thought I was going to just make the video without go-to-meeting at all, but it's an answer to Diamond's question, or comment, and so I thought I'd mention to her that I was going to make a video about it, and just go ahead and launch go-to-meeting. Eric INFJ's here, so welcome, Eric, and I'm going to talk about this. Diamond says, in regards to my video about how we understand sad things, she says, interesting to hear an ENTP speaking about FI, ethics of relations, vulnerable. I should come on and do a chat on SE, sensing of power, vulnerable, although because I'm the creative subtype according to Model G's DCNH subtyping system, I've got accentuated NE and SE, so I may be somewhat different from certain other INTPs in regards to SE. At which age did you start to be more aware of and less repressing of your vulnerable function? Which situations allow you to be more aware of it? According to Socionics Model G, FI is the ethics of relationships. Similar to TI being the logic of structure, FI can be felt much more clearly when one is in their head reflecting, whereas FE feels authentic when one is looking to and living in the outer world, such as the emotional atmosphere extroverting. Well, I think that's a really interesting comment, and a lot of stuff here. I mean, there's 5 different topics in this comment, but I don't know Model G's DCNH subtyping system. I want to know it now. Hopefully you could explain it to me, maybe. I could Google it, but, you know how that goes. I suspect I've got accentuated SE for an ENTP as well. I do seem to do a lot, but ENTPs in general don't necessarily have a problem with doing a lot. The thinking of FI is the ethics of relations. What's FE then? I mean, I agree with you. It's the ethics of relations. But it's more, hmm. Well, I mean, I think FE is more of a management protocol. FI is more of an evaluatory protocol. And my experience of FI in that instance was not one of I saw that he was sad and therefore I was sad. It was one where I perceived there to be a great tragedy before me relating to another, not to myself, but nevertheless a great tragedy in which all of my experiences of the emotional aspects of it were internal. I wasn't displaying introverted feeling. The question of, at what age did you start to be more aware of and less repressing of your vulnerable function? That's an interesting one. Well, I think it's also interesting to note at which point I became less aware of it. I think in your youth, children all are very feeling oriented. Certainly, I was somebody who could get their feelings hurt. I was somebody who would cry and, you know. But I think it's an interesting question because it implies that you start off with them fully repressed and you come to be more aware of them. But I see it more like you start out assuming they're fine, and then you become gradually aware that they can't be necessarily counted on to just take care of themselves, right? I see that as the attitude of the functions is one where we're talking about which side of the function we take for granted and which side of the function we consider significant. And I consider the extroverted feeling side significant, and I consider the introverted feeling side to be taking care of itself. That there's this notion that I'm happy when other people are happy. There's an idea that um, that the fun is easy. It's the conflict that's hard. The good times are easy, so we don't really need to worry about my feelings. Good times are easy. That's the default. That's what I assume, right? The default is I'm happy and having a great time. And if that's not the default, then there's some sort of problem with the external world, because my own feelings aren't something that are fussy. They don't demand much. When I was a little kid, I think that played out a little bit differently. It played out like, well, I was very people pleaser, extremely people pleaser. I wanted to give things to people all the time. I still do want to give things to people a lot. It's weird. Um, and I think the reason for that was just, very clumsy FE and very active NE and primitive TI, young child TI. That says, well, let's see, how can I get that warmth of feeling that I get with other people liking me, and try to give them things. You know, of course, that's not not a very good strategy. Regardless, I mean, I have a hard time divorcing my own manifestation of FE from my oddly idyllic and sheltered childhood. I was, my emotions were always validated. They weren't, I wasn't told, I mean, my dad had, there's a certain amount of be a man, don't be a baby from my dad. There was certainly plenty of, not plenty, but it was unstated, unnecessary to state, but 100% so, that there was no being gay allowed, right? That was not allowed. But that was fine. I didn't run afoul of that one anyway. So, there was a certain amount of toughness or whatever built in, but my environment was very supportive of me, emotionally, spiritually, in every sense of the word. My parents, my mom was very loving and always defended my right to emote. But the other thing I experienced was I did not like feeling bad or guilty. I didn't like feeling guilty. I felt a lot of guilt about a lot of things when I was a kid. I felt guilty about shit all the time. Felt like I was doing something wrong, or felt like I had done something wrong, or felt like I hurt somebody's feelings. When I remember I made a joke that was mean to my mom, but it was not intended to be mean. It was intended to be just a joke when I was little, and she explained to me that I had hurt her feelings, and I ran screaming into the bathroom. I didn't know what to do about it, Um, Now I experience emotions all the time, and I'm aware that I'm experiencing them. That's the thing. Are you aware you're experiencing them? And that's a different question than are you aware that you have experienced them. It's very easy for an ENTP to note when he has experienced emotions. Oh yeah, I was upset, I was angry, but I wasn't really angry. I was just pretend anger. It's something an ENTP is likely to say. Um, they don't get the difference. uh, we just think, well, I mean, but yeah, I'm acting angry, but obviously I could change gears in this heartbeat if I wanted to. Well, it doesn't make the anger any less real. It just makes it not sticky. That's the thing about us for FI with the ESP and the ESP in the 7th slot. It's not sticky. We still experience emotions like anybody else, but they don't stick with us very long. And it's rare that I'll carry around an emotion, any emotion, for very long. With the exception of recently, I've been carrying around this sense of dread over 1,000 subscribers for some reason. Just a sense that suddenly it's possible things are going to pretty suddenly change. That when you have a larger audience, then there are understandably more expectations, more scrutiny, and I don't know. I mean, the other thing is I don't know what's going to happen. So, in one sense, there's dread from the change that's likely to happen, that's coming up. And I'm normally fond of change, and I want this change. I sought this change, but it's scary anyway. Second one being, of course, having sought and fought for and wanted this change. Now I'm not even sure it's like I'm pretty sure I'll get to 1,000. I mean, I'm at 978. I don't think suddenly it's just I'm just never gonna get to like 998 and then start dropping, and get back down to 0. I hope not. I mean, so anyway, as soon as I get to 1,000, then I have to find out if my predictions are right or not, if it actually makes a big difference or not. And so there's dread about that too. What if I get to 1,000 and it's no big deal at all, and then the next day it's like 1,001, and then 1,002, and it's just like nothing. It's possible. We'll find out. I feel my own emotions much more clearly when I'm reflecting in my own head. No, not really. They don't necessarily have to be emoted. I can feel them just fine sitting here talking to people. I have little left of the barriers between me and my honest display of myself almost all the time. So if I get teary-eyed, I just start crying while I'm talking to you, and then it just goes away. I don't comment on it. And so, when people know me, they just go, "Oh, it's just Eric. He just does that. He's just an emotional guy." It's funny. I'm an emotional guy, right? I'm a really emotional guy, but it's in my 7th slot, and I'm oppositional to emotion. Well, not really anymore, but what the thing is, for the ENTP, what they want to distinguish, and I just think it's a good distinction to make, we are down with experiencing emotions. We're just not down with using them in arguments. And we're not down with worrying about that as a vector to consider, or a variable to consider, when judging whether something's a good idea or not. So that's the thing. When I experienced those emotions with that homeless guy, like I said, it was in my head. I kind of went like this, probably externally for a second, as I felt the emotion. It's strong feeling. It's like yelling, almost. It's like, not yelling, but like anguished cry. I experienced those emotions when I found the dead guinea pigs. Compton killed the mom and the baby. And I let out a very heartfelt sound, Things that impact me. When I finished recording that song and put the text at the end of it that talks about my appreciation for subscribers and viewers and stuff, I was, crying, tears streaming unabashedly down my face. And I sat there and experienced those emotions for a while, and they're kind of good emotions, kind of bad emotions. Not bad emotions, but they're all good, but they're kind of bittersweet, I guess. The feelings of gratitude, mostly, and like the starving person eats phenomenon. This bread is the best thing ever. Your relationship with your feelings is tied to your relationship with your identity and how you understand success and failure. And no matter what words I said or variation between this little period of time and that little period of time and how I felt, at the end of the day, I experienced 44 pretty good childhood. I experienced, it's called first 20 years of Wash. I experienced the last 24 years, last 25 years of my life, my adult life. Was comprised nothing but failures in any attempt to express myself. Failure or damage, pushback, apathy, anger, eye rolls, ontological violence. And the relentless message that I needed to be other than who and what I was. So when I say I have strong feelings of gratitude to viewers and subscribers, when I say I appreciate your willingness to care about my videos, I mean exactly that. I appreciate it. I appreciate it beyond anything I've ever experienced in my life. Just having somebody willing to pay attention is remarkable. Those kind of emotions, I don't know what to do with those exactly. I feel like they're kind of selfish emotions. They're emotions that relate to my own narrative and maybe don't generalize out well, except as potentially an aspirational kind of a thing. I think we all go through experiences of what we end up deciding is unjust pushback, unjust critique at the hands of others. We all experience that, so we can all relate to that. And I think we all experience occasionally the sense that we'd like some sort of confirmation that we're right, and or confirmation that we're wrong, or something definitive besides just this, the thudding, monotonous, driving beat of failure. Well, I mean, do you know how many views have been happening on my videos in total? That's why another reason why I like having a lot of videos. Over 200,000 views on my videos. A lot of them are Zach's videos, probably, but it the advantage to having low expectations. You know, when the world, when you just allow the world to have its systems produce for you some sort of positive result, and you expect nothing. Positive result is so sweet and scary. And all those years training yourself to know that the only thing certain is failure. That was certain, for sure. The more convinced you of it, you become of it, the smaller your definition of success has to become. Just 5 people would be great. Or you go nihilism. Fuck it all anyway, who cares? I couldn't lie to myself that well. I didn't believe it when I said I didn't care. I never believed it. I didn't even say it. I almost never said it. I don't care what they think. I do care. I always said that. I do care what they think, and they think my shit stuff is bad. They think I'm shitty. So, you know, what else are you gonna do? You suck ass. Just fucking do your own thing, I guess. And, you know, introverted intuition way. Stop trying. Keep doing. Something will happen. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the comment, Diamond.